Hello everyone, and I'd love to welcome you on this beautiful noon, I should say, according to my time zone, on this beautiful Monday noon that we are meeting here amidst back to school topic, amidst back to school vibes, and so in accordance with that, we are heading back to our usual time frame schedule with LiveWebinar, hosting these events, and we wanted to brief you on what's been happening behind the scenes, what's been introduced lately to our software, how will that impact your upcoming events and your operations that you deal with day to day. What's been new? What's been updated? And what are the new verticals that you can explore with our software? Thanks to the hard work of our development team, which, as always, has been putting in a lot of effort to make things even more seamless and even more holistic on your end. So we do have a set of features to discuss, a number of ideas to go through. But first, I'd like to once again welcome you as we open the room and enable the access to more and more people second by second. So I'd love to know, where in the world are you watching from? What's your location? And yeah, let's start off by getting to know each other. We're headquartered in Poland. Cyprus, beautiful Cyprus. I always wanted to go there. You know, you're the cornerstone of European civilization in Cyprus. So I always wanted to visit. Hopefully next year, things might be working out for me in that direction. Denmark, wonderful. Australia, oh my God, from down under. Sending my greetings to wonderful Australians. Um, they are usually tough people, you know, those Australians. Um, they've built up a nation from the ground up, and the entire continent. So sending my warmest greetings to Australia, as well as Austria. So a beautiful country. I wish to see Vienna once coming up. So again, sending my warmest greetings and my welcomes to you all around the world. All right, so we do have a very diverse set of people joining in. Always happy to welcome that. And yeah, let's crack on. Let's start discussing what we've got in the agenda for today. And we do have a flexible set of five key features that have been introduced to the software recently, and are very much deserving of some spotlight. So let's start off from the QR code access, which will be a feature that will enable your attendees to join in the event even more seamlessly and reduce those lost out connections in the marketing funnel. Then we have the mobile app, which is a huge release, and it's been a focus of our development team for quite some time, and is now live in the App Store. So that obviously opens up a lot of new verticals for you as the owner and the manager of the webinar funnels and the events that you host throughout your live webinar account. Then we do have registrant redirection, which might seem like a feature that will compose a bigger picture of your marketing efforts, but nonetheless is a valuable step on the path towards increasing those conversion rates and keeping up the attention of your attendees to be. Then we do have mobile view, which works in conjunction with the mobile app and is a fantastic way to keep your attendees' devices diverse and to enable them to join your event wherever they are, not compromising on the end quality of the event, so that you have all the tools necessary to reach as many people as it's possible, as it's doable. And finally, in the end, we do have a Q&A session, which will enable you to ask all of those questions that you might have sitting at the back of your head, and making sure that you have the answers from the source directly from us. Right, so let's crack on. QR code access. As I mentioned, it's a wonderful feature that enables you to simplify the registration and to enable people to join in your events even more flawlessly. So it works in conjunction with our registration forms, and it's a wonderful feature that enables you to have those conversion rates, which will grow and grow and grow. So for that, we do have a video in line, and I'll be happy to share it with you guys right now.
Welcome to this quick tutorial on how to use the QR code feature in LiveWebinar. This option is a simple yet powerful way to make webinar access even easier, especially for users joining from mobile devices. Start by creating a new webinar room. Just click Schedule Webinar from your dashboard. Give your webinar a name, set the date and time, and hit the Schedule button. Once your event is created, you'll notice that a unique QR code is automatically generated and attached to your webinar. Want your participants to use this feature too? Simply create or assign a registration form to this webinar room. Now, anyone who fills out the form will receive a QR code directly in their registration confirmation email. It's a quick and modern solution to make your webinars more accessible, whether you're running them online, in hybrid format, or connecting with an audience on the go. Ready to try it out? Create your free LiveWebinar account today and start hosting smarter, more accessible webinars.
Right. So that was a very straight to the point explanation of how that works behind the scenes, under the hood. And I just wanted to embark upon explaining a bit further, a bit larger scope of the of this feature and how it might work in conjunction with your particular events in the subtopic in realm of your events. And that formula of having a QR code is very familiar, I'm sure, to many of you who have joined the conventional fairs or events or conferences, which do have an augmented level of hybrid or digital formula embedded to them, be it lectures or panels or any sort of auxiliary. Oh, Germany! Sending my greetings to Germany as well. Auxiliary functionalities and auxiliary realm of digital knowledge being passed on through whichever mean available. And so this is a wonderful way of keeping this hybrid sense of an event at the disposal of your attendees. And nowadays, QR codes are omnipresent, and we do sort of sign up to that larger trend of creating hybrid experiences, multi-dimensional ones. So that's obviously a way of keeping things much more accessible towards the users, and it also works wonders on the accessibility front, as it allows people to join the events in a simpler manner without having to type in or without having to keep track of the credentials that constitute a registration form. Italy. Um, I wanted to attempt some Italian, but I really cannot. So sending my greetings to Italy as well. Which part of Italy are you from? No, they have to sign in through an email, but the entire redirection thing, and we're gonna circle back to redirection once again in this webinar later in due course, will allow them to have it done sort of in an optic manner. Kazakhstan. Ooh, that's an exotic country. There's many Polish people in Kazakhstan, and I'm Polish, as the large scope of our team is. So greetings to Kazakhstan, and yeah, buongiorno. That I will withstand and understand. Reggio Emilia. Okay, so Parmigiano Reggiano is obviously the thing that you're most famous for. Um, am I right to assume that Ferrari comes from your region as well? Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think so. Maranello is the headquarters of Ferrari, so I would assume that's the capital of all things beautiful, as Italy is. Alrighty, heading on to another set of features. More than okay. My apologies. But then again, I'm sure I wasn't wrong on the statement that all beautiful things usually come from Italy. iOS and iPad mobile app. Speaking of beautiful things, that is one beautiful thing done by our development team, and I'm sure while it not might not be as beautiful as the goods crafted in Italy, our application tailored to mobile devices is a thing of beauty. Is a bidirectional thing of beauty, which allows your attendees to join in on mobile and have this dedicated hub to the events that they want to keep track of and that they want to follow through with, as well as it opens up a whole new realm of webinar management on your end. So you can schedule events, you can set them up through your mobile app, and that's a native interface that allows you to have a even firmer grip on what's happening in the marketing department, in the video marketing department of your enterprise or of your undertaking. So that is one hell of a powerful tool. And for that, we do also have an explainer video to which I will happily resort to. Webinars without limits, that is the main focal point of our enablement of that mentioned app. Maciej has sent out a link to that particular application in the chat. So if anyone's interested, be sure to check it out and be sure to issue us a 5-star rating in the App Store, because that really counts towards building out the credibility of the solution that we provide. Moving on, this is the mentioned interface, the mentioned beauty of the interface. A lot of it is in line with the current policy of Apple, with the current scope, the designer scope, the liquid glass one. I had the privilege of testing the application out on my iPad, and the liquid glass works flawlessly in there. So that's a testament to all the hard work that's been done on the developers end, and how they actually put in the hours, and yeah, provided us with this wonderful piece of technology that allows us to have those events managed remotely. Moving on, another feature that's sort of painting into the larger scope of your marketing operations, and will, I'm sure, enable you to reduce the drop-off rates and the bounce rates within your events. And by that I mean registration that enables redirecting people to custom pages. So oftentimes when you set out a registration to an event, you want to incentivize people who actually sign up for the event and who actually pay with their attention. Let's just put it like that. So we do now offer the option to enter a custom URL to which anyone who registers to your event will be redirected upon the completion. And said features, they usually work best when demonstrated live. So I'm going to need a brief moment to have that very event instantiated and initialized, and I will show you directly from within my computer how does that particular feature work. As per the Android app, yeah, we'll touch on it. We'll touch on it later, but that's a feature that we also do have in mind, and we'll elaborate on that in the Q&A section of the presentation. So let me just share my screen and show you how it's done from the attendee's point of view as per the redirection. So right now, you shall see the registration form, and that's a very simple form. As you can see, my time zone is disclosed, so that's a handful set of information for you. And I do have two sample fields. First of them is in Polish, but that's essentially name. So let me just type in Adrian, and as per the email, I'm just gonna type in Michael Johnson, Smith, Scott, let's just say. A set of sample names will do just fine. I'm sure nobody has the exact email. And let's just call it outlook.com for the purposes of demonstration. And so beforehand, when I set up that particular event to which I'm registering, I entered our pricing page as the final destination of the attendee who registers. So let me just follow through and register, and I am instantly redirected to our pricing page, which just works automatically. And as you've seen, it's a question of seconds or milliseconds once the request is initiated and passed on to the before mentioned pricing page. So what's the possibility? The main possibility and the main opportunity coming with that particular option is that you can host your own freebies, for example. So if you want to reward your attendees with some sort of a custom PDF or a case study or a set of, let's say, if you're working in a department responsible for marketing, you might want to have an ebook associated with your event. So you're running an event on a certain topic, and in order to augment or build up the anticipation for your attendees, you might want to share an ebook. However, that ebook might have a lot of megabytes to it, and it might be a bit cumbersome to host those things anywhere else than your own cloud storage. So you might want to set up a redirection towards a landing page, which will then enable fetching or downloading that mentioned calorically heavy ebook for your attendees. So that can be done through LiveWebinar, and you can incentivize people for registering and for attending the event in due course as well. So they are not mutually exclusive. Instead, you can do both. Moving on to another instance of how our development team is reshaping the interface and making sure that it's absolutely the smoothest experience possible for you. We do have a new mobile view that's been introduced recently, and the main aim of the redesign and the rebuilding of it was to enable as many features available to the desktop users to the mobile ones without compromising on the quality or the experience of the attendees. And so this is a fully fledged opportunity for your attendees to join in and to partake in the event. Obviously, it required a lot of planning and a lot of conversations within our team to actually sew in the best experience possible. And we're happy to say that we've managed to do so. Our development team has poured in a lot of effort to that as well. And this mobile view that's available to all of our users is now live, and we're very happy to introduce it. Be sure to check it out as it works with all the events hosted on our platform, so that there's no exclusion whatsoever. And it enables a great deal of personalization, customization, and a lot of switches in the interface itself on a mobile view. Right, time to wrap up. And this huge banner will indicate that we do have a Q&A session. And circling back to Roberto, who asked about the Android app, it will be available in due course. We do have to sort of layer the implementation a bit, but that's something that we do have on our roadmap, and will be introduced in due course, I'm sure. Those questions, they only reinforce the urgency for our team, and they do influence the priority of things being shipped. So I'll surely note this question down, and I'm going to circle back to the people responsible for the planning of the development team and reiterate that Roberto asked for for the Android app on our webinar, so we cannot really compromise on it, and we have to yeah, put all the eggs into the basket of the Android app, as I'm well aware that it's a huge segment of the clients who will anticipate this particular version of the mobile app. So that's something I have written down, and I will reiterate it further on. You can trust me on that. Right, waiting for any other questions and any more of the questions. My pleasure, Roberto. My pleasure. Alrighty, Kirsten has asked, it's been a while since I used LiveWebinar, but I make webinars for kids. What's the best way for them to join? And this is a very interesting question, as again, it sort of underlines the need for the seamless accessibility of the webinars and the end users. And so it's important not to overcomplicate it. Obviously, when you running events for children, I wouldn't be wrong, I assume at least, to assume that there's a parent supervision in place, and so the parents are largely responsible for scheduling and maintaining the calendar of the children. So I would still recommend joining in from the desktop, and that's an interesting point, I know, and quite a contrary for what we've been talking about throughout this presentation. But it's just me personally. When I join into an event from a desktop or from my computer, I usually set aside a physical space, a physical and a mental space for that event, and I tend to absorb the informations to the fullest. So from a cognitive point of view, and from my personal experience as I've been working for quite some time in this industry, most beneficial events, they usually take place on desktops, because you have to physically force yourself to pay attention. And while it might be difficult for a kid to sit stationary for 30 or 40 minutes, that's something you have to consider as well, running events for that particular demographic. But in the end, I would say yeah, the desktop would be the most cohesive form of experience, especially for children. And I do have the awareness of shortening attention spans throughout the younger demographics, but that's something we really cannot escape. And this is the sort of the way it's headed. So that's from a sort of philosophical point of view, and from a let's say more technical point of view, I would say children usually log in for events with the parents' emails. When we're talking about younger children, when we're talking about teenagers, it's important to have their attention again hooked throughout a number of channels. So with that, I assume you're not running webinars in vacuum, and you do have a sort of parallel marketing effort associated with them. So having reminders go off pretty often in a short sort of iteration loops is a very good practice. And in the end, you're limited to the means that you have in your email marketing database. So that's a sort of dictator of how you might address inviting people and then managing the invitations in the funnel itself. So that's my response to it, and I hope I addressed the question cohesively and sort of completely, so that you're happy with my answer. All right. Stefan has asked, what's your advice on how to conduct successful evergreen webinars? Well, evergreen webinars are a very peculiar way of having your attendees' attention, I would say. So there's two ways to do it, and either one of them is correct. You have to decide on your own. But the most important thing is that you do not lie to your attendees that you're live. So that's sort of from my personal experience, and when I see evergreen webinars as a consumer of educational content, I'd say you have to be honest, that there's this sort of, again, evergreen value baked into the event, and that you do not lie to your attendees, because the more digitally literate ones, they will understand what's going on, and you might lose some credibility by going against the sort of the factual state of you running an event on a playback. So I'd advise, be true to the philosophy you've taken, to the philosophy you've signed up for, and do not lie to people that you're live when you're not. That's especially in relation to the evergreen events that take place at a certain time. So you have a build up towards them, whereas the sort of the on demand, they usually have this sort of innate nature of a video course. So the way they work is a person signs up, and then they receive an email with the invitation instantly, and they join in again at the preferred time. So you do have this sort of disclosure at the very essence of it, baked into the philosophy of conducting an event. But when you're building up people's attention towards an event, be sure to not disappoint them, because they might have this sort of expectation of the session being interactive, and you might not have let's say, the capacity to make that interactivity. It's better to be honest than to sort of sneak out, and yeah, lose the trust and credibility of your attendees. So make sure to do that. And I'd also advise, and that's a sort of sentence that keeps on circling back every single time I stumble upon this dilemma. Be sure not to conduct webinars in the vacuum. So be sure to have some set of marketing campaigns or strategies running alongside the webinars, and have them as an augmentation of what you're doing, instead of running a one-shot operation, because that rarely turns out to be the most efficient way of allocating your mental resources, as well as financial ones. So you have to sort of go multi-channel from day one, and yeah, have a cohesive multi-vector strategy, in which webinars obviously play a very important role, but not the only role. So yeah, hope I addressed it suitably. And as per Murat's question, how did you make that participants don't see each other in the participants list? It's a good feature. Happy to hear that. I'll forward this information to our dev team, who'll be very happy to hear that you do have such an opinion on the capabilities associated with our platform. It's very simple. In the participants tab, you do have a cogwheel, which enables you to disable the feature show to participants, so that you can have the full ownership of the data being presented to your attendees. And that's a very handful feature for you. You do not have to share everything. You can have a sort of semi-transparency for your business purposes, and that's perfectly ethical and perfectly fine. As again, we're based in European Union, so there's a big emphasis on privacy in whatever we do, and the privacy is responsible for usually the first question that we ask: how does that place itself in the realm of privacy, and would that information being shared impact the sort of the well-being and the privacy of our attendees? And we want to keep it private. We want to keep it encapsulated, so that each one of you who have joined us on this beautiful noon, they are happy with the information being processed in the most discreet and privacy compliant manner available. Yes, as Maciej mentioned in the chat, you can also use only initials for the participant, so that they'll stay anonymous to each other during chat talks. And that's another aspect, and that's another plus of being a European company, is that we have this sort of privacy first mindset, which might not be the case for the large players across the pond So yeah, so that's I had to take a dig at at them. I'm sorry, but yeah, that's how things are with us. And if there's any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them. So let me just have a bit of a moment, and yeah, I think we're gonna wrap up, as I do not see any further questions. So you are, I hope, satisfied with the answers we've given you. And in the end, if you have any further questions, be sure to message me on my throughout my email through my email address. And that's been me, as you can see, quite similar to the person on the photo. The photo has been taken a while back, so some things change, but we're here to stay, and we're happy to help you in case of any further questions. So I'd like to thank you for your attention and for the 30 minutes that you've set aside of your week to join us and to listen. Thank you, Roberto. I'm very glad that you enjoyed it. And again, sending out my warmest greetings to Italy. And yeah, hope to see you soon. Wishing you all the best. And once again, thank you for your attention. Thank you for your time. And let's keep in touch. Bye bye.